A man walks into a bar and says to the bartender, "Give me a drink, it hurts when I pee." The bartender says, "Sir, perhaps it's what you're drinking. Try this." The bartender sets up this bubbling, vile-tasting concoction on top of the bar. The man shoots it back, does a backflip, and pukes on the floor. The bartender says, "Now doesn't that make you feel better?" The man says, "You bet, I can hardly tell I got my dick caught in my zipper."
Right.
This is DJ from Canada, now heard on the Len Amsterdam Digital Television and Radio Network, and that would be worldwide. This is the debut edition of Whitby Shores Live. I would really like to introduce our next guest for you, Sleepy Bomb, all the way from New Orleans, Louisiana, United States of America. And Sleepy is one of our more popular members at Whitby Shores, and I'm going to get him to tell you a great story about the day that he met Stuart Copeland of the Police. How you doing, brother?
Oh, glad to be here, Len. Oh, the police story. Well, it was a night in 1978, early 78, I believe, and it was at a bar called Old Man Rivers. And we were opening for the Police, and they were on their first tour of America. And we were in the backstage in between sound checks, and the green room was very, very small, so we were all kind of packed in there. And me and my cousin, we were running through this song that we just wrote it, and Stuart just was enthralled and wanted to know all the chords, and he sat there and just enjoyed himself hanging around with the boys from New Orleans. He just loved the city.
That's interesting. Were any of the Police songs charting at the time, or were they being played on the radio, or were they total unknowns at this time?
Oh, maybe they had one single out, I think. The first album had just come out, and I know that Roxanne had not broken yet, so this was really early on. They had just started the East Coast leg of the tour. So yeah, they were pretty much unknowns. We just loved them because they were from England. You know, I'm Anglophile, so anything with a British accent usually swings my head.
That's very cool. We'll be talking lots to Sleepy Bomb, but the reason we're really here tonight is to showcase Sleepy Bomb. And what do you got? What are you going to spin for our members tonight?
Well, let me see. We got the new hit song on Whitby Shores by the Metri Rex called Blue Sky Drive. And once the technology gets better, I'm sure we'll have the accompanying video, but for now you'll have to go to the site to see it. And might throw in something Whitby has not heard before.
Very, very cool. Okay, folks, here we go. The Metri Rex, Blue Sky Drive, now heard on Whitby Shores Television and Radio.
All right, here we go.
Jump in the car.
Roll down the windows, we'll go for a drive.
Now, do you recall that actual gig? How many people were in the bar, and do you recall any of the police songs that might have been played that night?
I remember there must have been maybe 200-300 people out of maybe the 6 that it holds, 5 or 6 that Old Man Rivers used to hold. We had a really big punk, new wave crowd down here. Everybody was, I mean, it's New Orleans. This place is bohemian anyways.
Another punk icon that I'd like to talk about is the Ramones. I understand it was your previous incarnation, the Metri Dukes, that played with the boys?
Yeah, we were one step out of New Orleans playing original rock and roll, toting the upright piano around with us, and we opened for the Talking Heads at the Warehouse. We opened for the Robert Gordon and Link Ray at Old Man Rivers, and the Ramones show was another one of these punk blowouts where every punk within 1,000-mile radius was there, and we opened for them. And that was a pretty funny sight in the back of the room too, because Joey is so dang big, and he's back there doing calisthenics, and he's knocking things down off the walls, and he's jumping around trying to get loose for the gig. And yeah, those are some heady times, man. We played about 285 days out of the year for about 4 years straight.
Now you're doing some really good name dropping here, and you got my interest peaked. You mentioned Link Ray. I've been a big fan of Link. Please elaborate a little bit about your meeting that great guitarist.
Well, we were all fans. We were like fans of just rock and roll in general. And as a matter of fact, we were covering Rumble, which was his 50 instrumental hit. He was touring with Robert Gordon, and Robert Gordon was totally unique. There was nobody like him at the time, and he came to New Orleans, and most of this stuff was word of mouth and just whatever little ad putting on that we'd do, running around late at night and tagging telephone poles with flyers. And but he pulled a nice crowd, and Link, it was just, man, he was Mr. Cool. It looked like he just walked off of a Harley with his guitar slung around his back, man, like a gunslinger coming into town. It was really cool seeing him play.
Now, being a big fan of Link, did he cover any of his material?
I remember doing Rumble for sure, and I'm not sure, he might have done 1 or 2. That was 30 years ago, so I don't even remember what the heck we played. But it's just, I remember him and they just looked so cool. They looked like they just stepped out of a deli in the 50s. You know what I mean, with the greased hair. They just looked so.
Yeah, I got you. The Fonz. I seen Robert Gordon in Vancouver about 1990, and he was playing with Chris Spedding, and that was part of his look. He had the leopard skin jacket and like the slick back hair. That was a part of the show. But anyways, we're running short on time, and it is time to pause for the Sleepy Bomb cause. So let's end it all with a Sleepy Bomb track. And Mike, if I could get you to introduce it for Whitby Shores Television and Radio. Thanks a lot, buddy. It was good talking to you.
All right, Len. Yeah, it's a pleasure. I enjoy talking to you, and I loved Whitby Shores. And just for the heck of it, here's a police sound-alike knockoff called Here Comes the Scary Part.